When we think of a typical drug addict, we think of someone who turned to drugs in an attempt to cope with trauma and often childhood abuse. That wasn't the case for Culley. He describes having the perfect childhood, growing up with great parents who gave him all the love he could have asked for. But that didn't stop him getting on the ice and every other drug you can think of, choosing a life of chaos.
And it was just happened so quickly, and all of a sudden I was addicted to meth and anything, coke, pills, whatever, amphetamines were coming at me. That's what I wanted all the time, whenever. And eventually I didn't have a job, and I sold my car, and it was all for drugs. I just lost everything, my savings, just got on this wormhole.
Dealing to feed his addiction and his ego, believing himself untouchable, Culley lived that life for a decade before it all caught up with him. Jail was the wake-up call that finally snapped him out of his toxic mindset, starting the long overdue process of self-discovery with a sober mind. Now 8 years clean, Culley's living an honest life as his authentic self, working for everything he has in a real job, building himself up and doing his best to stay on top of his mental health with the help of therapy and tools gained from the hard lessons he's learned.
Every day I think about myself and feel where I'm at and analyse where my head's at first before I even start the day. So I start the day with gym, get my head in a good positive mindset already, and I'm good. I'm already all right.
This is James Culley. Welcome to Young Blood, the volunteer video podcast dedicated to young men's mental health. I'm your host, Cal McPherson, and this is a platform for young men and their loved ones to share lived experience stories and show that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. Suicide is the #1 killer of young people, and changing that starts with speaking up. So let's do it. This show touches on some tough topics that may provoke strong emotions. If you find anything in this chat distressing, please do whatever you need to do to look after yourself.
We see USA trying to grow your savings, dreaming of a home for your fur baby and human one, and kicking life goals. Because we're here too, seeing more South Australians thriving. We see you, South Australia. Credit Union SA.
Culley, take us back to when the trouble began for you.
When it began. So we're going back to when I started getting addicted to drugs, I'd say, back in 2012, 2013. It was a funny time. I was going through a sort of hard relationship, breakup at the time, and she still stuck with me in that through that time. And it just the year started not good. 2013, there was a death in the family. My uncle passed away, and he was like a sort of a grandpa figure to me because I never met my dad's dad. He died before I was born. So he was the closest thing to a granddad on my dad's side I had. He passed away, and then it was only a couple months later, my mum's dad died. And I was doing drugs beforehand. It wasn't, my lead two drugs, but that's when I started really using heavily. I wasn't close to my mum at the time, compared to now. The older I've got, definitely closer I've gotten with her. And I had, as I was saying, the relationship breakup was a bit hard for me, and Adelaide's small, and I just wanted to leave. So I was planning on getting a one-way ticket and moving to England for a bit. And just to get away, I was like, I can't do it in Adelaide, just being a bit weak and that. I just need to move and start, and I had a ticket booked and that, and I was ready to go. But then obviously my mum's dad died, so I prolonged the ticket and postponed it. And obviously, I stayed in Adelaide and stayed on the drugs, and avoiding getting as sad as much as possible. Just hit the pipe hard, whatever I needed to do, any amphetamines, I just, to keep my mind busy, I was doing that. And
how did those losses affect you?
Because I was so incoherent on the drugs, it didn't affect me as much as it probably would normally. It obviously broke me. I loved my grandparents and stuff, but I just was obviously more concerned about my mum. My mum and her two sisters lost, one of their parents, and it was only like not even 3 months later she lost her mum. So both my grandparents on my mum's side died within 3 months. So it wasn't even July yet, and I had these 3 funerals, and my ex stuck with me by that, bless her, and it was good. But I don't think I really dealt with it. And then it just kind of went on a wormhole of diving down that drug abuse harder. Obviously, like I said, I prolonged that airline ticket, and once my mum's dad died, I prolonged it the first time, and then I'll stick around for a bit, and then her dad died. So I cancelled the ticket again. And even though I wasn't as close to my mum at the time, I really wanted to stay here with her and be with her. I knew it was the right thing to do and stay. I wanted to stay. But obviously I stayed in Adelaide, and that's where all my friends at the time were, and although my friends were doing the same thing, and I just couldn't get out that routine, unfortunately. And
what feelings were you pushing away with the drugs?
I think just the sadness and of the breakup was the big part of it, and it was just kind of like a domino effect. Emotions I was feeling, I was just really sad, but I knew if I always had something in me, you know, toxic and that, I'd feel a little bit better and not think about it as much. So it was just a bit of a camouflage for it.
Was the breakup because of the drugs ultimately?
Yeah, definitely big part of it. It was a massive part of that, and I was in denial about that and denied it till the day to her as well. And yeah, it's come out now, obviously, in that, and you know, in the recent years. But at the time, it was just it was the drugs. Not that we blamed that. I kind of blamed it on something else, but it was mainly because I just wanted to do drugs over being in a relationship. It was pretty bad. Yeah.
How did you get into drugs in the first place?
Just certain scene, certain friends. You know, you are who you hang around with. I've truly believed that. You know, if you surround yourself with the right people, and I didn't bad appreciate. I grew up in the northern suburbs of Adelaide, and I did all right. But you know, obviously, you leave school and then you hang around and make new friends, and it just happened. You know, it just happened like a blink of an eye, and it was just happened so quickly. And all of a sudden, I was addicted to meth and anything, coke, pills, whatever, amphetamines were coming at me. That's what I wanted all the time, whenever. And you know, eventually, I didn't have a job, and you know, I sold my car, and it was all for drugs. I just lost everything, my savings, just got on this wormhole.
From about what age?
I was about 23 to 24 when I started hitting them hard. And
did you ever really think about what you were doing, or it's like you got on a roller
I never
coaster?
thought of any consequences. I just wanted drugs, and I needed to support my habit, and that's how eventually I started rolling into dealing to support my habit. As simple as that. Nothing crazy, and it happens to a lot of people, but it was just to support my habit at the time. And then it came to a point where one of my pet hates, and anyone that knows me will tell you that is I just hate letting people down. I never liked the feeling. It's a horrible feeling. Not many people would, but it was my number one priority to not let people down. So whenever someone asked me for something, I had to be the one to get it. I had to help them out, whether it took me a day and I got nothing out of it but lost money. I had to look after people in my thought pattern. That's how it was, and that's how I got into dealing. And that's how eventually I got done trafficking. But yeah, it was just to support my habit originally, and then eventually just took up all my time because I had no job. That was my job. It was just to keep people happy and keep me going and not come down. And that was it. Yeah.
And it became an identity?
Yeah, that was it. But that's all anyone knew me for. You know, they forgot. You know, I still had the same morals and that. You know, I didn't, do bad things in a sense, like rip people off, rip family off and that. But it was just, I still had the same morals, and I think that's what kind of worked and kind of drew people to me, because I was reliable, because I did everything I could not to let them down and get what they needed. And at the same time, it was feeding my habit, and it was just a cycle I don't want to break. And I don't care who tells you they're lying. It's differently if they're lying if they say this, but that need and want from people is addictive. That it's so addictive, just that people always needing something from you. And someone said, your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. And I was just so blindsided from everything, people needing me and wanting me all the time. It just became a habit, and then years went past and I was doing the same thing. Just nothing changed. I was just getting deeper and deeper and deeper.
So partly you were addicted to feeling like you were somebody.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm honest with myself, and that's how it felt at the time. I felt like I was a sort of an important figure in the group of people that knew me. I felt like I was someone in a small little blue dot, you know, and I was no one. No one even knew I existed outside that scene.
That was the first time you ever felt that way, though?
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, there's definitely some sort of power trip to it, you know. Some people might not think that, but I think in denial, it's just, that's how it was. And, yeah, it just didn't help my habit at all, you know, because...
Had you looked up to other people who were dealers as a younger person?
Yeah, for sure. There was people around me. I wanted to be them. I wanted what they had, you know. There's a lot of people like that, but I just wanted what they had. I wanted...
Just the surface level stuff? Like
yeah.
Money, power, respect?
Money, respect. I wanted to be able to buy things whenever I wanted, not have to worry about it. And I was doing it. Some of the money wasn't even mine. And I was just doing it because it was there, because it made me look good and feel cool, made me look good to other people. And it just got me deeper in that hole. And it's just, yeah, it was just an addiction on its own, not even the drugs. It was just the lifestyle was an addiction, you know. Were
you aware of feeling insecure back then and really needing everyone to give you that validation?
I've always known I'm a bit insecure. I've always known that. I've never, ever been so comfortable with myself. The older I've gotten, the better I've gotten. But at that time, I was just so lost. And just wanting to be accepted by people and wanting people to need me for something, because I had nothing else going for me at the time. I was real sad, you know. I had a great relationship that ended at the time, and I did it because of drugs. And then I had family members die, and I just fucking wanted to escape. And then people needing me around was the best thing for it at the time that I thought. And that's what I believed.
So why do you think you got on that path so young and then stuck on it? Like, did you see an alternative?
I had some goals, I wanted to save and that, but it was more so just not come down. I just didn't want to come down. That was the goal, not come down. So what I needed to do is sell as many drugs as I could, to cause as much mischief as I could, and have as many people around me when I needed as I could. I love my alone time. I'm an extrovert, but I do love my alone time at the same time. And so I build it up so much, and I get so high, and then it's no matter if I'm still on stuff, people will leave, and then the emotions start to cycle, and then I'm like, well, what do I need now? And I just look for the highest next option I could do, and whatever that was, it was either drugs or buying something or having people around.
You couldn't be by yourself really at that time?
I loved my alone time, but it was dangerous for me to be alone at the time. I loved people distracting me. I'm not going to say I had dark thoughts at that time. It was more so I just got really emotional at the time, and because it was foreign to me, I didn't like that feeling. I needed to not feel like that at the time. So having people around, needing and wanting to party all the time was just addictive on itself, and it was just an everyday thing for years. I'm not talking months, weeks, it was years. It just happened, and just all of a sudden 3-4 years went past, and I was just getting deeper and not thinking about any consequences, because I thought I was untouchable at the time.
Are you quite an emotional person?
I wear my heart on my sleeve, definitely. My friends know me, and I'm not shy to show emotion ever. I never have been. I'm quite, I feel very blessed. I've got amazing parents. I had the best childhood. I don't think anyone's had a better childhood than me. So I'm not going to blame anything of where I went on my path on anything but myself. I had the best childhood. I don't think anyone's ever had a childhood like mine. I just, obviously I grew up and I chose my own path, and that was it. So
how'd that affect your parents?
I let them down, like I said, and it was a cycle where I don't like letting people down, and the two people I respect the most and love the most, I let them down. So what that would make me want to do? Get on the drugs harder. I'm like, fucking, and then just avoid them. So I grew distant from them. I was best friends with my dad for years, and then still was, even when I was doing drugs. I didn't see him as much, but I chose business over seeing my parents any day. And my mum, I'm more close with her now these days. Best mum in the world. I love her so much. But back in the day when I was lost on the bender, I just avoided her so much. And just because I didn't want to be reminded I was letting them down.
Yeah, because they'd hold a mirror up to you.
Yeah, and without intentionally doing it, they would never do anything intentionally, rub anything in my face. They would just tell me they love me, and even that was, I couldn't even take that, because I just thought it'd make me feel bad. I'd realise, fuck man, they're awesome, and I'm just being a piece of shit.
But whenever you would get those guilty feelings and hate yourself, it would just make you do more drugs.
100%, like more.
Because you didn't want to feel it.
Statement, yeah. I'd just go hard and avoid them, and months would go past, and I didn't even realise I hadn't seen my parents.
What did they do to try to help you?
They always just tried to talk to me and invite me over, just try to be parents, offer me if I need anything, and loan me money here and there if I needed. But and then that happened a couple of times, not to pay some debts and that. It was terrible, and I was honest about it. They were always there for me. But then I learned from that mistake as well, where I needed money from them, and I just wanted to fucking do more drugs, so I never had to fucking come to them again. And it's just kept going.
Were there times during those years where you said, okay, you got to stop this, and you made an attempt to do that, or never?
Never. I was just so addicted to not coming down. I just didn't. I wanted to avoid that feeling. I never thought to stop. I never ever had that thought. The only way I thought I'd stop is if maybe I died or I went to jail. And that was it. It was just a habit. I didn't want to stop.
So you think it was just in you and your wiring and your chemistry, and when you were introduced to that drug, that's just the track you went on?
Yeah, I've an addictive personality, clearly. I don't know about peer pressure, but eventually I guess I did this occasion, especially with methamphetamine. And it just happened, it's once a week, and then a couple times a week, and then
same old story.
Every day, all day. Yeah, it's a common thing. I
guess there's no underestimating ice.
Nah, it's a terrible drug, and that's obviously because I had the money. I had options, I had supplies where it wasn't just set methamphetamine. There was everything I needed and everything I wanted, because I couldn't say no to someone. So if someone hit me up, can you get this? I'm like, yeah, I can got that all the time as well, and this and that. And just there's so many people like that, but it's just there was nothing I had to say no to. I always had everything. If I didn't, I'd open that bar up, and I'd eventually dip my fingers in everything I could think of, just so So my phone was always going off and I was always busy.
Mm.
I had maybe a 2-hour nap every day, if that. I'm just sleep deprived.
So you didn't have time to think about
No.
what you were doing.
No.
And that's how you wanted to keep it.
Yeah, I woke up, have a pipe.
Mm.
I woke up to a message going off over something like, you got a 10-pack of pills. And I'm like, yeah. And I'll just stop everything. I'm probably making hardly anything from it, but come to my house, you know, I'll meet up with you, where are you? You know, it was non-stop. You know, there'd be probably maybe a 3-4 hour period a day, once a week, where I've got nothing, and all day, every day it was just non-stop.
How do you feel about yourself?
At the time, I fucking loved it. I was addicted to it, and I loved that life. I loved nothing else. I just wanted that forever. But it was just, I was so lost in my head. It was a blur, and it's just, you know, a lot of people tell you, once you're on it and really addicted, like one day turns to weeks and months, and then all of a sudden, you know, I was like 25, 26, and then I've been doing the same thing, but gone harder and harder, and hadn't learned, and 27, and I was just going harder. It was a ticking time.
And what was happening to your life as time was going by and it was progressing? Obviously, you don't stay in the same place. You get older, your body and your mind deteriorate. Shit gets worse.
At the time, it felt like I was just stuck in the cycle and everything was staying the same. I didn't feel like I was getting older at all. I knew some people were growing apart, some people were dying, some people were getting off it somehow, some people were going to jail, some people were just growing up and moving on and, you know, choosing a family. And I was just doing the same thing and keeping a select few around, and then I'd find another group that needed it, a younger group. And it's just, yeah, it's so toxic.
Because you wanted to be enabled to keep doing that.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing at the time, was what I felt. I knew it was against law, but I didn't give a shit about that at the time. I just want to get high. I just want to make money, and that was it. I was living in a great house. I had amazing cars, and that lifestyle was just really addictive, and I just didn't see an end game. I just wanted that, and it caught up with me eventually, obviously.
And naturally, it gets bigger and bigger, and you want a bigger high, and you want more money. And if you're a people-pleasing drug dealer, then you're going to have more drugs and more deals to do. So
that's right.
Where did that lead you in terms of the magnitude of what you were doing?
Hanging out with different groups, like more, I guess you could say more secure, more affiliated groups, to get more supply. You know, I met another person, and it was just whatever I needed. I thought I had everything I needed, and then there was another door open, and it was like, all right. And it was all just to feed my addiction at the time. I wished, you know, I can't say I wish anything better. I'm glad where I am now and how everything happened, because I'm happy where I am at my life now, and I'm glad everything happened for that reason. But yeah, you always meet new people, and you want to keep it exciting. And like I said, I'm on repeat, but it's just a cycle. I just didn't know how to stop. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to stop it. I just loved it. So
when did you get caught?
So it's like 2015. I got my door kicked in for the second time. A couple of years earlier, I had my dad's door kicked in. Nothing happened over that though, but that kind of distanced me a bit from him and his partner at the time. Just like they want that happening at 4 a.m. in the morning, you know what I mean? I must go back on the story of when my both grandparents died and I prolonged my ticket. I stayed, and then a few months later I had a bucks night in the city, and I'd never been done for anything at the time, but I got pulled up on High Street by coppers, and I got done with a 10-pack of pills and a couple of points and some money. That was it, very minor, but we got thrown out for a legal search in the end. But that's what got me on the radar, and I was on bail for it. So all of a sudden I couldn't go to England, couldn't move to England, so kind of stuck. That's what kind of got me stuck here at the time, and I just wanted to go to England, start a new life, and maybe spend some time with my dad's mum. You know, she'd been in England my whole life, and I'd only seen her a few times. I wanted to live with her for a bit and just do that and get away from the drugs. But then I got done with it.
So you did reach a point where you're like, maybe I gotta get away from here and put this life down.
At the original start, I knew it was going to get worse than that, and I just, obviously the breakup was helping me with not wanting to be around. I was thinking it was just too small of a town. I wanted to get away from her, and I wanted to spend time with my grandma and do the right thing. And this was like 2013. So that was the only time in that time before I got in trouble that I thought, all right, maybe this is the way to stop. And obviously it went completely fuck out from there. It got a lot worse. Like I said, I was only just using meth, very minor then. You know, is when I got stuck here, and when I felt like I was stuck in the city, that's when it escalated. Like they raided my dad's house because I was living there technically for a bit, for a few months before I moved overseas. I moved up, and once that happened, my dad knew what I was doing. Everyone knew what I was doing. Family knew what I was doing. So I avoided them. So I kind of hung around my ex again. I stayed with her parents, did the same shit. And I was just like, all right, what am I going to do? I've got no job, got no house, no income. What do I do? Just let's pick this thing up and let's keep doing this. So that happened. And yeah, that's kind of where it originally started getting worse.
And how'd you get done for trafficking?
So I got done. So like I said, my door kicked in, and I wasn't home at the time, and I was red hot at the time. Like had people coming and going flat out, not caring, thinking I was invincible. And a nice house and a very nice street where neighbours would definitely notice these things, and I just didn't even care. I was so oblivious to it. I just didn't care. And I was meeting a lot of people not even at home, and yeah, they still kick my door in. Someone said something. It is what it is. And yeah, I wasn't home, and come home and found a letter in my letterbox. I was like, oh no. So I got on the phone with my lawyer and then kind of hid out for a day or two and did what I had to do and handed myself in. I had no idea what they wanted, and at the time of what they were charging me for, but they gave us the charge, and it was like, charged me for like 42 counts of trafficking. They found a bit of stuff here and there, bit of everything. So we were a bit unsure why they were charging me 42 counts originally. And eventually it came out that they got footage flat out of me doing stuff, like just red-handed. There was no out of it, because they got me like 5 weeks later. And I was at a friend's house, and they've been following me for the whole time, for the whole 5 weeks, pretty much, since I got bail. And they've been following me that day. And someone came to my mate's house, and as soon as he left, they kicked me in the door there, and that's it, you know. So then I got locked up, and I was on bail for something, and then they told me what they're charging me with, and that was it. So this is 2015. I got lucky enough to get out home D bail straight away though, because I had no priors. So on home D bail for about 16 months, 16, 17 months until I was going to probably go to jail if convicted. And even in that 17, 18 month period, I was in denial that I was even going to jail. I thought I was invincible. So what I do? Fucking hit the drugs harder. Didn't even care. You know, I was getting piss tested all the time. I didn't even care. Just abused it. I'm like, I might as well just, if I'm going, just live it up. And I thought it might be done after a few months, but it just went 18 months from, I abused my body more than any time in my life in that 18 months. And it was hectic, like doing the same thing. I was on a home D, what am I going to do? Drugs, girls, nothing to do, just getting people around. I don't want to be my own, I'm on home D, I can't even go, so I just want people around all the time. It was the worst. It escalated it.
Where was your mental health at after all that?
All over. I can't even tell you how I was feeling, because I was just clouded. I just was clouded. I couldn't even tell you how I was feeling at the time, because I don't even remember it. I was so fucked. I was so unhealthy. I was on anything you can think of all day, and just doing stupid bloody activities around the house to keep me busy when there was no one around. Yeah, I didn't even go to my shopping pass once a week. I'd rather stay home and do drugs, you know? I wouldn't even get out of the house. It was just a fucking disgusting mess. Absolute mess. And
did you view it that way?
No. Not one bit. Not one bit did I view it that way. I loved it. That's all I thought. I thought, I'm not going to jail. I'm invincible. I'm just going to have to do these drugs and then get off, and I'll still do drugs. I had no end game but just to do drugs.
Totally delusional.
Yeah, that's it. Delusional. Just clouded. I couldn't tell you where I was feeling. I'm not going to tell you I was down. I was up. I definitely wasn't feeling like top of the world, but in my sense, there was a small part of me that thought I was on my right if I'm high. You know, because if I don't want to come down, then I don't know where I'm going to go. You know, I'll probably go somewhere dark if I come down, so just avoid that. So that's endless stock. It's the only way to do it.
But what goes up must come down eventually.
Eventually. And like I said, I'd been up for years, 5, 6 years. I had not come down. Like, I'm not joking. I literally hadn't had to come down because I'd stayed up, and it wasn't even getting high. I wasn't getting high for years. I just, maybe here and there a day, I'd, you know, get a bit of a rush, but from something different, from a big amount of something, but I hadn't been high for years. It was just a, you know, steady pace, like, you know, having a cigarette in a sense, and I was chain smoking cigarettes at the same time too.
Well, that's what addiction is though. It becomes about not coming down, not about getting high. Yeah.
It was just a habit. It was a habit of not feeling too shit. And it was just like, all right, so when I wake up, what do I do? Have a pipe. You know, what do I do after lunch? Have a pipe. Whatever, just someone comes over, have a pipe. It's just any excuse to have a pipe. It was fucking disgusting, man. At the time, I thought it was the only thing to do, and only thing I wanted to do. So yeah, did that for 18 months, and what happened? I literally was smoking a pipe when I seen the cops walk past the window about to kick that door in. I remember it. Like, I had 2 friends there too. I was literally doing the same shit. And that was the last day I had a pipe. Yeah.
So they kicked the door in again?
Yeah, they knocked politely, as they do.
Yeah.
You know, I ran upstairs to do what I had to do, and a mate of mine let them in. He had to do what he had to do. Is what it is. I was fucked either way. I even had a cigarette in my mouth when they come upstairs, you know, like I didn't even put away what I needed, like, you know, it was just so oblivious to what was going on. Like, shit, what I do? I was that scattered. I was like, oh, well, fuck, you know, I didn't even think what was around. Everything's a mess, you know. As long as I'm high, it's all right. When that door got kicked in then, that's the day I went to jail.
So when you're in jail, I mean, I know people get drugs in jail, but did you come down?
I slept for a bit. I slept for like, you know, the first week pretty much, a lot. And my sleeping pattern's really bad, but I slept. Somehow I got lucky. I got through those withdrawals pretty easy compared to some. I felt a bit shit, but I just slept, you know. So I woke up like a week later pretty much, and it was all right. I was back, and I wasn't thinking about getting on. It hit me, I had an epiphany. I'd done some things in that bender time where you know, I had some light in at the end of the tunnel. I had epiphanies, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. But until I got locked up that day, and I was sitting at the front of my house with the handcuffs on, and I'm like, you're really fucked now, aren't you? Like, that's where I was just like, fuck this. Like, fuck this. And sleeping through that week, my first week in, and then waking up and just got on with it. And now that was enough. Enough was enough. Enough was enough. And it was so easy. And I've had this discussion with someone recently of why or how it was easy. And there's obviously something in some of us that just triggers like that. And it's not hard, you know. There's a lot of people do jail, and all they want to do is get on all the time, and they all think they're already planning the next scheme of what they're going to do when they get out, or how they're going to get high as soon as they get out. And, oh, fuck this.
So for you, jail was the flip of that switch.
Flip. If I didn't
go to jail, because before that, it's like nothing was going to change your mind.
If I didn't die, if I didn't go to jail, I never would have stopped. I had no reason to stop. I had no missus, I had no kids.
So what was it about jail that flipped that switch for you?
I couldn't tell you. I think it was just the awakening and the hit in the face of where I was at and where I'm not going to go if I keep doing it.
And being sober for the first time in God knows how long.
Nearly 10 years. Nearly 10 years. Like,
were you overwhelmed by emotion when you were finally sober? Like recognizing the life you've been living and who you've been hurting?
I was distracted a bit from where I was at. So I couldn't really think about that at the time. I did later on, you know, after the time I did. But at the time, it was just like getting my head around the politics of jail and getting, you know, just being in jail is enough to keep you distracted and on your toes on that for the first part, if you've never been, you know, for the first couple of weeks anyway, to get your head around everything and just observe and get an eye on things and see what goes on. And yeah, and knew a couple lads, strangely enough, so it was okay. I had someone there I knew. People were coming to see me. I didn't do many visits, but people were coming to see me, and I was talking to them. And you know, even though I've been clean a couple of weeks, they you look fresh. And like, you know, I had a bit of sleep for once and stuff like that. So it was all from then. It was just about eating right and getting out.
But it was a wake up call.
It was the only biggest wake up call I've ever had. Jail. Yeah, it's because it's a shithole. They don't make it. You know, if you like it there. But I just knew instantly I don't want this forever. So that's it. The last day I smoked a pipe was the day I went in, and that was it. And that's 8 years ago. Yeah.
And where does DMT come into this?
So DMT came into it, strange enough, while I was in that bad time. In a sense, as much as it didn't stop me from doing things. First I did DMT, I did stay off a lot of other things besides the pipe for like 6 months. But DMT, without trying to promote it as much, it just set my affairs. It set my affairs of what you want to do. So I started actually doing some functional things, even whilst being intoxicated on the drugs. I was still doing things and planning things and fixing some relationships. But in my head, I thought I was doing some productive things, but it wasn't really. It wasn't really until I got clean completely and come out of jail and then did DMT when I was completely refreshed, where it did the most for me. But like I said, I did abuse DMT while I was on that bender. Abused it hard. I did appreciate it, but I didn't respect it as what you should. Like I even had like I said, opened my window and portals to other things of other ways I could ground myself and feel better, whether it be meditation or a sensory deprivation tank, stuff like that. And just opened me up and stopped me being distracted from things. I know I was still heavily involved in drugs at the time, but it's very highly severely just stopped me being distracted from a lot of things compared to what I was really helped me. And I know it's hard to understand that when I was still doing the same shit, but man, it got me out of doing a couple of bad things. It just really set my affairs in order and made me want to be a better version of myself. I was just too addicted to drugs to stop what I was doing, even though it didn't flick the switch where I'm like, all right, I'm done with everything because I didn't want to come down. Right? It kind of just put me in line with what's right and what's going on, what do I need to do. I knew what I needed to do, but I was just too addicted to care. Yeah.
So especially when you got out of jail, how does it have that effect? Like, what about that experience changes your mindset?
Well, with how it changed my mindset, I feel I did jail pretty easy in a sense. I had a couple of days there where I was blue. I owe that to DMT. I owe that to me being a bit grounded and relaxed and letting go of things, because I couldn't let go of my ex at the time. That's why I was, going in that cycle and that at the time. But then DMT is the first thing that happened when I did it, was help me let go of her and generally be happy for someone. When you're young in your 20s and that, it's a very hard thing to do and be genuine and sincere about. But at that time, the first time I'd been an adult about anything, and it made me let go of her and just be happy for her. And, I ended up going to her wedding and, being friends with her partner at the time, and we're still friends to this day. It was a long time ago, and I owe a lot of that to DMT, just kind of kicking me in gear. As much as I was still in this other world partly, it definitely helped me a lot in that sense. But when I got out and I'd been clean for years, I dabbled in it again, and it really hit me compared a lot different to what it used to. And just because I was clean, it's crazy what toxins in the body can do to stop you feeling the full effects of something. And it made me happy about a lot of things, and made me happy about the situation I was in, and made me appreciate that I was in jail, because I knew I wouldn't have stopped. I'm going to say, like, without doing T, if I went to jail, I don't know if I would have stayed off the drugs or not. It just, maybe that was a big part of why I decided to just cut the shit, So I knew there was better things out there, not much better things to look forward to as well. And it's not forever. I'll get out and get onto it.
How long were you in jail for?
Just over 4 years. I got an 8-year sentence, 6 years non-parole. And I got lucky enough to do the last 2 years of non-parole and home detention. So before I went in, I was home to bail for 18 months, and then went in. There's a few things in my charge. They gave me 4 years, and then I put another charge on me when I was in. And basically they appealed that charge when they weren't happy with what they gave me for that, and it just kept going. They just kept coming for me, and it is what it is, I was sad a bit there and here and there, but anyone that's done jail will tell you the same thing. With jail, you expect the worst and hope for the best, and you get what you get. It is what it is. Just get on with it. It's all right. Do your grieving, whatever it is that you got to do for a day or two, just to, have you cry, be sad about it, be annoyed, be pissed off, take it out on something, take it out on someone, whatever. But then you just get on with it. You get on with it. It's not forever. It might be a bigger chapter than just a small chapter in your life, but it's not forever. Just make the best of it, and you'll get out, and your day will come. That's it. Just get on with it. You get what you get. It is what it is. I did get a harsh thing. Everyone said it. I don't feel like the system's against me. I did get a harsh sentence for what was happening at the time. It was my first offence, but it is what it is. And you get on with it. And just smile and laugh and train and come out a better person. That's what I did.
And when you were sitting in that cell for all that time, and you had a lot of time to think and a lot of time to be with yourself, and you probably had a cellmate, and you would have spent a lot of time in the yard and that, but you didn't have your phone going off every 10 seconds, and you weren't the man anymore. And what was it like to be able to come back down and try to be in your own presence?
It's funny you ask that, because there's a lot of people thinking there's somebody in there, because there's somebody on the outside. Everyone in there uses a number now. It's funny you said that thing with the phone. Like, I felt my phone going off in my pocket for weeks after. Like, I felt it vibrating. That's a thing, emotional thing. I felt it.
Phantom phone.
I had fucking, 3 phones, I'm like, it's fucked, man. Like, I was feeling it. Like, I was like, this is cooked, man. Like, but it was so peaceful when I realized I didn't, obviously I kind of, in a way, a little small part of me missed the things, but I wasn't missed being high because I was all right now, but I missed just the little things. Like, I obviously miss being free, but I did not miss at all that phone going off and waking me up all the time. There's other things to wake me up now when I'm in jail, but at the time, it's like, I did not miss those fucking phones. Every one of them, like, just going off all the time and having to just do shit. Like, it was just so peaceful. No one could call me. I had to make phone calls out the jail. That was it, if I wanted. So I was just at peace. As much of a harsh and toxic environment it was, I was at peace.
And what did you notice about yourself getting off the drugs and getting out of that lifestyle, even though you're in jail? Like, what changed within you
I wanted to train. I wanted to make a better version of myself. I wanted to eat better. I wanted to train. I wanted to just do courses. I wanted to do things like, and it was just having a clear mindset. Yeah, it was crazy. The things I wanted to do, it was endless. It was limitless. I just had to write down a list. I was getting confused at how much things I wanted to do and make the best of it. And this is me just thinking I had to do 2 years, you know, obviously it went to 4, but.
Because when you're on drugs, you give up everything in your life for one thing.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
And then you take that thing away and the opportunities all come back.
Everything. Yeah. That's my priority. Nothing could come in the way of me doing drugs. Like I said, I didn't see people, family, because I wanted to be on drugs.
But you were just totally numbed out for so long. You never even thought about being interested in something else. Like you never gave yourself a chance to be interested in anything until then.
No, you're right. Like I used to be involved in music a lot before the drugs, and then it just distraction, and very like a sporty person, playing my football and stuff, and just stopped doing everything because of the drugs. So then I went to jail. I was like, fucking, we playing soccer this weekend or what? You know, could we fucking find a guitar and start playing some music? I just wanted to reignite all my things that I wanted to do, and I forgot. And I was so happy in a shithole place. I was so happy, you know, because I just knew I'm gonna make the best of this and with some good lads. And like I said earlier, you are who you hang around, and no one wants to do the jail hard. You know, some people can't help it. Some people just find trouble. Some people just can't avoid it. Some people are pieces of shit on the outside and it follows them in there. You know, it is what it is, but if you're yourself, it's quite easy. And you only make it hard if you make it hard. If you surround yourself with similar people that have the same mindset, you know, as much as some people might disagree, but you can have the time of your life in there at the same time in a healthy way. You know, some people want to do the drugs, that's fine, but you know, you find a group that just wants to train. You're in a group and you're all positive, and you all know you're just in there for a small time. You eat together, you train together, and
it's kind of ironic and unexpected, isn't it? That was the first time in your life that you really experienced that positive lifestyle.
Yeah.
In jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like I experienced a lot of positive things in that place.
Because that was actually you for the first time, not just the drug version of you.
Yeah, exactly. I remember like moving into a living unit. Like in some jails, you get some better units, and you're in a house of like, you know, either 7 people, 8 people, maybe here and there. And you know, sometimes it's 4 people, but depends where you are. There's a lot of different jails, but I remember the first time I moved into a living unit, it was brand new and stuff, and it's only been there a year, and I spun out, you know, because it's just so new and that it's not like a normal cell. Like you're still in jail, like it's a big unit with fences and that, but it's like a bit of a luxury, you know. You fuck up, you're not going to be back there, but it's just a bit of a test to see what you can do. And you're with like 7 other people, and we all sat at the table for dinner. And I know, like, you'd think, oh, you just probably sit at big tables all the time in jail, but this was like a table. We all sat there at a set time and that. And I mean, that was the first time, and I'd been in about 9-10 months then. And I was like, I loved it. And I was like, this is fucking weird. I haven't sat at a table, you know, since I was a kid with my mum and dad. You know what I mean? Because I'd been just eating fast food. If I was eating shit on the drive to someone's house, dropping something off for so long. It was like really good to be there. And that was the first experience in jail. I remember like, this is fucking nice.
Yeah, because you'd missed all that normal adult life.
Yeah, we're eating like a family. It was really good. I didn't really know many of these lads at the time, but it was nice to eat like a family, and they're all good lads at the time. It was good. And then I moved to another unit, and then I was with some mates, and that's where it all kind of escalated, and I started really training hard and eating with them. They pulled my head in with diet and that, and yeah, and there's nothing bad can come from that. It's all gonna be positives when you start eating right and training right, you know. So
what kind of person did you decide that you were going to be when you got out?
I wanted to make up for lost time to start with, in a sense, but I wanted to be a better friend and a better son, better brother. I just wanted to spend more time and tell them I loved them more. You know, all these people, I really appreciated my friends so much. I didn't do many visits in jail for that reason. I've said this recently, like, because I knew what I was missing out on. I didn't have misses or kids at the time, so I didn't have to see them every week. I'd want to see them every week, you know, but with friends, I'd probably have maybe half a dozen visits a year in that 4-year time. And that's split up between parents and friends, my sister and that. And I just, that's the way I did my jail. Everyone's different, you know. Some people need 2 visits a week. I just didn't want my weekends to break up. I just wanted to keep my head down and train, and just another week gone. But that was it. I just remember because it was so hard for me at the time, because I loved my friends. I really do feel I have the best friends, and no one's got better friends than me. No one does. And everyone can argue it, but no one does, because they're the best.
So you still got mates from that earlier part of your life?
A couple of people drifted off, but very rare. Only a couple. Everyone's stuck by me. Everyone's stuck by me. Literally, I could say, 99% of people stuck by me, and that was such a great feeling. But see them coming to see me in that, for an hour and then leaving is just what made it hard. So I was like, I'll talk to you on the phone here and there, but I just rather just work on me and for you and then I'll see you when I see you. And my parents wanted to come every week. I wouldn't let them. You know, I had friends wanting to come every week. I wouldn't let them. You know, and I overthought a lot of things as well because we were always pretty far away, Murray Bridge or the Riverland, and then I just didn't want something bad happen on the drive or something like that. This is me overthinking things. I just imagine if something happened and it's because I'm doing jail, you know. It's because I cared about them. I wanted them to be there, and it's crazy. Your whole life's on hold, and then you get out, and everyone's been moving for 4 years, and some people got married, and divorced. Everyone's got kids. So you come out and then you're trying to find where you belong again. But all these people that supported me, you're still trying to find out where you fit as well.
Did 4 years feel like a long time?
It flew. Everyone will tell you that.
Even though you went on drugs?
It did fly. It flew. You know, you get a set routine, it flies. Like I said, I thought I was doing 2 years. So I remember them putting a fresh charge on me, and then I got an extra year for it. I was like, all right, that's all right. I kind of accepted it. I already done 2, I can do another year. And then they peeled that because they didn't like that decision. They weren't happy with me just getting another year, so they peeled that, and then they resentenced me to 8 years with 6 on the bottom, non-parole. So I thought I was doing 6, and at the time when they did this, I'd only done 3. So I was like, fucking hell, I've got 3 years to go at least. And I thought I was getting out. So at that time, I was like, fuck, I've done 3. That did feel like a long time. I've got another 3 to go minimum. I was like, oh no. Like, I had my cry on the phone that day, and then the next day I just got up and trained and got on with it. I think I had 3 to go. But lucky enough, I only had to do a year. I got home D sentence, so I could say like maybe it might have felt longer if I did an extra year or 2. But that 4 did fly. It flew. It was crazy. Everyone, you know, on the outside world, it flies people out in the outside world even more. Me, it didn't fly as much, but everyone's like, as if that was 4 years, you know. And little things change. And, you know, I've got a good friend of mine who's done 35 years, and he's a lad, and you can see that. Imagine the changes he's going to see when he gets out. But after 4 years, it's just saying so many little things change, like. Whether it be social media, like extra things, you know what I mean? Like there was no stories on Instagram, stuff like that. Spotify didn't exist. So it was only a 4 year period. Spotify come out and what the fuck, this is the best thing ever. Spotify, Uber Eats and that. Like that wasn't even a thing. Uber was only coming in America, like the driving thing, but then all of a sudden there's all these delivery, and I was on Home D when I got out, and I'm like, everything get delivered. This is crazy. And
Uber's great for Home D.
That was just 4 years. Like, and it's crazy what changed in that 4 year time. Like just with socials and everything was online, and you know, I got out at the end of 2020, so I missed that first year of COVID, you know. I come out and everyone's wearing masks, and I was wigging out the first time I seen it. So little things like that was crazy.
Yeah, not the best time to come out.
No, but I was in the safest place possible for the first year of it. Like, that was because they stopped visits for a year.
So did your mates who were in that life grow out of it as well, or they're still in it? Because often you hear people who manage to come out of it like you have, they have to remove themselves from those circles.
I come out, and majority of the people that I was, you know what, 99% of the people that I was associated with like that, they're still doing the same shit because they haven't been in jail, probably. They haven't stopped, you know. They haven't had any reason to stop them. There's a good few lads that have walked away and cut off all the friends that you got to do it. You've just got to, you can't even say anything. You've just got to just go and start a new life with your partner or something. You just got to go. I get that. When I was younger and I was high, I've seen people doing that and I never understood it. I was like, he's been a piece of shit, just left. But I get, you got to just go. You can't just fucking say, look, I'm doing this. You just got to go because you know you're going to be stuck in that wormhole and get on the drugs every day if you don't just leave. I wish I did that. That's why I wanted to go to England. Same shit. I was on the same thing. I was being a bit hypocritical at the time, but that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I just left.
But you haven't done that?
No, I didn't.
But you've managed to stay off the drugs?
Yeah. Like, I had to be realistic about it. I got out of jail and obviously I'm not allowed to travel. I really wanted to spend some time with my grandma and that. Unfortunately, I prolonged my ticket twice already and that wasn't happening at the time. And then I got done with those pills in town and that fucked me. I was on bail for it. So that just prolonged, and I think it was a year later that got dropped, but then that's when my dog got kicked in for the other thing. So I just, since 2012, since 2013, I've been on bail or on parole or on something where I haven't been able to travel. So
hanging around those mates of yours who are still in that life, how have you managed to stay off the drugs?
I don't hang around with these people. I don't. I've got all the same friends, but they were never on it anyway. Like another group, there was another world. Like I said, I chose that world over them. I wouldn't even hang out with them half the time. Sometimes I'd let them in, but they'd have to know they're getting high.
Oh, okay, so you have removed yourself from that.
Yeah, so there was some group. There was like two worlds in a way.
Okay,
there's like two different worlds, and yeah, there's like a lot of great people that, you know, like I said, there's like 1% that maybe were only on it because they were around me. So I'm glad I went away because I come out and they're just killing it. They're doing great things. They've got, you know, got steady relationships. They've got their own businesses. And I feel like, fuck, man, I was really holding them back there because I was just getting them high all the time.
Has that negative world tried to pull you back in?
Yeah. Fucking, yeah, a lot. And I'm just a bit stronger now. You know, I'm much stronger now.
How have you been able to prevent that happening?
Just don't associate with people, and, you know, and just don't hang around. Don't give them my time. Is what it is, you know. I'm not scared of getting on the drugs again. I don't even think about it. I really don't care. It's disgusting to me. I just look down on it. I don't look down on people that are doing it. I just look down on it myself because I know it's going nowhere for me. It never was. And I don't want to be stuck in that cycle again and end up where I was. And it still finds a way to kind of pull you with you trying your hardest and not even caring about it. There's still things that pop up. That's just what it is. Eventually it will fade out, you know. I'm getting older and people will learn, they'll go to jail.
But that mindset switch, you've been just so resolute in that's been enough to carry you through and not get yourself back in trouble again.
Yeah, like, you know, like I said, things happen, and, you know, people still get in trouble. Sometimes you can't avoid trouble, but I want this certain thing enough to not even think about that and care about it. You know, I do miss sometimes that life and the high life and being able to pay for things, but I'd just rather have the honest life and not look over my shoulder all the time and have good friends around me. That's all you need. That's all you fucking need is a good group of friends to keep you happy, you know. And unfortunately, some people come out of jail, they haven't got anyone. So I'm blessed that I've got great family and great friends, that have a great support network that have always been there.
And just the one phone now?
Yeah, just the one phone, that's enough. That's plenty. I get sick of that, but it's good just to be able to text my friends whenever I want. That's the best. I love it. And a few people said that to me. It's like, I'm just so happy I can text you now whenever.
Yeah, and not about drugs.
Yeah. In there, I've got to call them, you know, and it's like a 10-minute phone call and it gets cut off, but they're just so glad they can like a bloody photo I post or a status or just like message me and call me. And in there for 4 years they couldn't, and I realised how much I missed and how much I mean to my friends. I mean, I mean as much to them as they mean to me, because they miss me as much as I miss them.
Yeah, because the story you often hear is once someone goes to jail, everyone forgets about you, and you find out that you didn't actually have friends, you just had other drug addicts.
Oh yeah, it happens a lot. That's a very cliche thing, you know, and, you know, it happened to me as well. I went in and you realise who your true friends are, and I did. I always knew who my true friends were. I knew it would happen though, so I was ready for it. I knew that was going to happen. Like, because everyone's like, you wait, you're going to find out. I'm like, fucking, I know it's going to happen. People are pieces of shit sometimes. I get it. But when people don't need something from you, you don't hear from them. You know, I was getting money orders sent from people that I never gave drugs to, you know, and the people that owed me money, I never got nothing from them. And that's this happens to thousands of people, like every year, and it's just in Adelaide, you know. Like, I knew it was happening, so it didn't really affect me when it was happening, because I was like, I knew it was going to happen. I was just expecting it, bro, you know.
Mm-hmm. Repairing those relationships with your parents, with your family, how did you execute on that? Like, what was the reality of that? You go to see your parents after you get out of jail, that you've actually changed. Yeah. What response did you get from them?
They could see I was changing when they come see me in jail. They were happy, you know, they knew there was a light in the tunnel. They just told me, just make sure it doesn't happen again. And, you know, I remember I got out and I knew it affected them, you know, because they would have thought they did something wrong, you know, and I just felt like it was in my job now to make sure they don't ever think that, you know, it was just me that went off path and they did everything right. Because I knew that, because the first time I seen them, like, even when I was on home D, I got out, my dad come around and my parents come around, they cried when they see me. When I opened the door, they didn't even think I was out. They didn't believe me, even though I was telling them to come around, I'm out. They didn't believe me. And I realised that it hit me how much, you know, it obviously hurt them more than it hurt me in jail. You know, it's, you know, just because you go to jail, you can't be so selfish. You're not just going with yourself. You're taking everyone that cares about you.
Your family does time too.
Everyone with you. Obviously, I did jail easy, but people out here did it harder without me. And it's fucking an awesome feeling to feel love like that. At the same time, I feel so bad. So like, all I can do is every day make them know that, you know, I'm all right and I'm making a better version of myself, and I want to make the most of all the time I lost and spend as much time with them as possible.
And you told them all that?
Yeah, told them multiple times. I don't get sick of saying stuff like that, you know. I tell them I love them all the time. You know, now a lot more than never told them on that bender. Never told them. I used to feel weird about it. It used to be ick to me. Weird. I just don't know. I didn't want to make. I think it was a way of me not feeling as bad. I don't know what that was, but I never told them. Now I'm just like, love your dad, love your mum all the time, and I love it.
Well, you couldn't feel anything before because you were on drugs, and then whenever you did feel something, you wanted to do more drugs. So you just didn't have the capacity for it back then.
I reckon you're right, bro. Yeah. But now it's just making memories, making up for that lost time, and just having some adventures with the people I love. You know.
They must be so happy and amazed because you being on that for so long, they must have thought that they'd never get you back.
Yeah, they've said that before, and they're proud of me and that, and it's great. I'm proud of me. You know, I'm proud of the things I did in jail and to better myself. And like I said, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about a lot of things, not just myself. I learned about who I want around me and what I need to do to avoid that. And yeah, it got dark there for a bit, you know. And if anything, last year, the years just gone, even though I've been free, has been the closest, hardest time as it was since 2013 when I lost all those people and that.
What's that?
Just a couple of domino effects in a way. Like another very important relationship ended at the start of the year, and something happened without going into too much deal. Things happened, and something else happened, and then I kind of forgot because I spoke to my mum about this. I've got a habit with giving all my time to people, which was just an addiction on its own. I just can't help it, and it's just a humane thing, I think. But it's not just coincidence where I've found circumstances where people DM me or message me, and they're like, "Hey, just letting you know, your post really helped me the other day," or me reaching out to them because I can see they don't sound right in a message they've written or a status they've written. I've reached out, and it's just someone I don't even know, and this happens to a lot of people, but it happens too much for me where it can't be a coincidence anymore. Where I want to do something with it, and people were saying I was helping them, like saving their lives, and I was just messaging them or giving them my ears and that, and just wanting to listen to them. And that just stops them. And the next day they'll say, "You don't understand how close it was. I've never even spoken to them before." And this happened like so many times, like for the last couple of years. And I wanted to do something for her. And I spoke to a friend and said, maybe you should just volunteer for like helpline or something like that. So I was looking at doing that because I just felt like I wanted to just help people and just do something else to better myself as a person, but also help other people from doing something and feeling the way I had before, whether they're addicted to drugs or just feeling down. I know how to get out of that. I know how to get out of it, And so last year, unfortunately, just a few things happened where I used to say to a friend of mine, she said, "You just got to remember, you put this time to people, you got to remember focus on yourself because you will lose yourself." And I was like, me being stubborn, thinking I'm just an invincible weapon, thinking I'm all right. I can give all my positive energy to these people and I still have more in the bank than other people, You
burn yourself out.
And it fucking burnt me. It burnt me last year, and it got to me where I was doing all these things and trying to help everyone else where I just forgot about myself. And for the first time since 2013, I got a bit lost. And as much as I wasn't going to jail and that and doing drugs, it probably was a darker year than I've ever had. And it's weird. And it was just, and this kind of came out of nowhere for me, but it took the whole year to realize that and to realize what I have to do to avoid it. I just was so oblivious and I let it happen. I started going to see a psychologist for the first time ever. I swallowed my pride. People said it's good for you. You'll get something good from it. And I did. I never thought it was, I was too much of a man to ever go. I just never thought I needed one. But going, I was open. I went in with open arms and open heart. And after a few sessions, I was like, it's good to just speak to someone that from an outside perspective and get a professional's opinion. And then she kind of put things in perspective for me and tell me this is why you're feeling this way and that. And I'm like, wow. And I just had to, swallow my pride and realize I'm not fucking, I'm only human. I'm only human.
It took you a long time to realize that, huh?
It took me fucking years, man. It took me years. I really just wanted to be that person that people look up to at the time and just thought, and then never saw down. Even though I showed emotion, I was always that one, pull your head in, lift your head, get on with it. To the point where I was saying that so much, I forgot about myself.
Mm.
And last year was dark. It was very dark, but I got out of it again. But it took a whole year, and it took not seeing my sight, but me, that I finally realized myself that I just got to not let things build up.
So between you and your psych and your own understanding of it, like what was happening for you mentally? Like you became emotionally exhausted as part of it.
Yeah. But
how do you put into words what was going on that was so difficult?
I can't probably go into the couple of things that were happening private for other people. But it was just a very dramatic time, and one of these incidents gave me trauma as well. It wasn't intended, but that's what's happened with me. And I've never had trauma and realized how serious it is. And when you just start crying about it, when you think about it, it's horrible. And it's a horrible feeling, and I never thought I'd be like that, but and another thing happened. I learned just one or two things you can let build up, it's okay, but I'm famous for letting things build up. I get it from my dad. I'm built up forever, and then it's one day, the littlest thing will snap. I'll drop a glass in the house and I'll just fucking snap. Everything will come out. From the littlest thing, drop something on my foot, and it's all these things come out. A lot of people do that, but that's what happened last year, and I just tweaked it, man. That's why I said I need to see someone. I need to go talk to someone, because I fucking lost it, and I had a thought that I never thought I'd ever think. I never thought I'd have a dark thought like that in my life. In my life, I thought I'm the one person that will never have, and no one ever has to worry about me with that shit. And then a thought came into me, and I was like, it came out of nowhere, and it was so scary because it was so foreign. It was so scary because it's not me. So that's why I was like, straight away, I'm on top of that. And DMT has a lot of play of that, because it really switches me straight away to know what I've got to do, and I've got to get on top of that before it gets too out of control. So I did. I booked a psych appointment and started talking, and said, this is scary because this is not me, and I don't want people to be worried about me, and more so think about other people. But I'm on my own a lot last year, and
You didn't feel in control?
nah, I didn't like it. It's the first time ever. Even when I was on a 10-year bender, I wasn't in control, but I felt less control last year with serious things happening around me. And the 2013 was horrible. Like, a few people died in my family and that. But last year tested me in ways I've never been tested. And it was the most difficult year I've probably had in my life. Yeah.
What tools have you developed to be able to cope that your psych helped you with? Like, what did she help you to realise, and what have you been able to implement?
So I read a lot, and it was not so much tools she gave me, but I knew I had to, just and having an accountability mirror. Yeah, that's the one. I'll say it again. Accountability mirror. Having one of them isn't enough, because that's how I was so headstrong, and that was looking in the mirror and telling myself, you're a fucking weapon, you're easy, you got this shit, and I reprogrammed my brain. That's how I did it. That's how I did Joe easy. I said, you got this. A friend told me if anyone can do this, you can do it. And these things affect me. And I get it in my head. I get ready to quote. I'm like, all right, that's what I'm living by. I get in my head. I'm like, you're a weapon. Anyone can do this. It's you. Fucking pull your head in. And that's it. And then I realized, it took me a whole year last year, till November, December, before I switched. It took me pretty much 11, 12 months of exhausting thoughts through my head. Just overthinking things to be like, all right, you need more than that. What do you need? And it's just to stay on top of things when they happen, maybe let one or two things build up, but after that, fucking smash them out the way, get them out the way. Don't let it build up too much, because
And you mean talking about it?
Yeah, I've been talking about it, of course, and not just to her, but to other people, and people were starting to get concerned. And I was getting concerned. I don't like it. I don't like being like that. I don't want to be like that. I've never been like that. Like, there's never been a time where anyone's been like, you don't hear from Culley, maybe something's wrong. And that's not me. But then last year, it was fucking just complete opposite. And then it was like, man, I should be happy. I've done all this time, and I'm all right. I feel the healthiest I've ever been. I feel like I've looked the best I've ever been. I'm the most secure I've ever been, the most confident I've ever been. And I'm having these fucking dark thoughts out of nowhere. And I hated it. And it was scary, and like I said, but I wanted to stay on top of it. And I just have that switch now where I know I've got to just bounce on it straight away and not let it get too out of control.
And what does that mean? Like, how do you act on it straight away? Yeah, you go see the psych, but what do you do action-wise when that happens?
I address it and analyze what I can do to minimize feeling like that day until I seek help. Maybe not try to just distract myself at the same time. So distract myself at the same time, where don't distract yourself too much, where you're just letting it fucking build up there and hide it. Get on top of it. Work out why you're feeling that way. Work out what you can do to get better, and maybe minimize feeling like that a little bit even, and just work on it piece by piece until you kind of break out of it, but really get to the bottom of it. And you can't just go back to the start. You need to just break it down individually, bits, and that's just something I learned myself.
So your whole life to this point, you've always pushed things away and used drugs primarily to do that, but then also just been the kind of person to always need distraction, any uncomfortable feelings or things that needed to be confronted. Don't want to do that right now.
Don't want to borrow.
And now you do the opposite.
Yeah. And like I said, that took years to even just work out that it needed to be done. Like I said, I just put too much time in others, and had to realize I'm only human. I need to look after myself as much as it's good to help people. You need to maybe just focus on yourself one of those days instead, but otherwise it gets out of hand, and you don't know what can happen. It could get scary.
So what about helping people now?
I still do the same thing, as it's just a human instinct. I can't help it, but I every day I think about myself and feel where I'm at, and analyze where my head's at first before I even start the day. So I start the day with gym, get my head in a good positive mindset already, and I'm good. I'm already all right. I've got some time and energy to always help someone every day. I'm sure we all do, but I just need till the time comes, maybe, when it might get overwhelming, maybe 3 or 4 people hit me up one day, you never know. That's, I think, will be the challenge or the test, and that's when I'll know what to do. I don't let it get too carried away. I'll deal with it that day, but I know if it's coming, I'm ready for it, and yeah, go from there.
What in you makes you want to be there for people that you don't even know?
I don't know. I think it's weird. I don't think it's a very odd feeling that someone wouldn't feel that way. It's just a thing, we want to help people. It's a humane thing. I just want to help people. Like I share videos that have helped me with people, people I've just met. I preach DMT to people. I do things to try better everyone and to get them out of a space. Like, maybe you should meditate, maybe you should read this book or get it in a sensory tank. I just want everyone to be where I'm at, which was why last year was so scary, because I was not at a good place. And I was like, oh shit, I need to get back to that person. So I've got something to...
Well, it's humbling, isn't it? Because you never complete the journey. Like you said, you can tick all these boxes and say, oh, I'm better off than I've ever been, but I feel worse than ever.
Yeah.
And even now you're in a good place, but you have to manage it. Otherwise you can end up back there.
That's right.
And that's why mental health and looking after yourself is so humbling, because it's not just a job done. It's every day you have to do the right things.
You're 100% right, man. Ongoing thing every day. I'm working on myself, and like I said, I'm 36 now, and like I said, I'm the healthiest and fittest I've ever been, but it's also the most challenging time. It's strange. I don't know why. I'm still trying to work these things out. I know. I just can't let things get on top of me. So if I learned anything last year, as hard as a year it was, it's just to put more time into myself. And even though I thought I was doing that the whole time, working on myself physically, I need to also work on myself mentally.
And face things when they come up.
Yeah, face them straight on, not just let them build up for months to a year. Because I snapped, man. It was horrible. It was horrible. Yeah, it's not good, but it's done now. I've worked it out, and I see myself. I was seen every 2 weeks. Now I see her once every 2-3 months. It's all good. I'm all right. It's good to talk to someone, get an outside perspective, like I said, but I don't need that consistent help like I was seeing her every 2 weeks. It's all right now. It's good.
And you got a good job?
Great job. I love my job. Great friends still there. Great people in my life. Good circle, small circle. That's all you need. Great support network. And gym whenever I want. That's great. But I also know I've got to have things in place, or if I get an injury, I don't rely on gym for my 100% happiness. I've got my friends. I do things around the house. I do other things, but I'm always going to find a way to train anyway. But I've got to remember, if I get injured, if I can't make gym or I get sick, to not have that. That's my 100% start of the day thing. You need to have other things in your life, more than one thing. You can't just rely on one person to be happy. Which we know a lot of people. They just think they need you and nothing else. Otherwise, they can't live. You need it more than that. Because if something else happens, like I said last year, I taught myself last year happened, and I've learned that a worse year could happen. A lot worse things could happen. Last year was terrible, but fuck man, it could be 10 times worse. So I need to be ready to tackle that, and I know how to tackle that. I need to just get on things as soon as that happens.
And routine's obviously really important. Having those things in place. And increasingly knowing yourself, like the beauty of getting through a difficult, your life's been pretty difficult, man, it sounds like. But getting through all that is, hopefully you learn from it and you gain that self-awareness, and you'll be able to see it building up and see it coming the next time. And there's no shame in making mistakes and learning from things, but you don't bang your head on the wall and do the same thing again and again and expect a different result.
No, you're right. And I'm very stubborn in my ways, where I have to stuff something up 100 times to get it. But I've learned that's not the way to go. I'm very I've got ADHD, and I need to do things physically to learn them and stuff. But you need to stay on top of it as soon as you can. And there's no shame in making a mistake, even if you make 100. It's obviously not going to be called a mistake if you keep doing it. But you're doing it on purpose almost. But you just gotta try better yourself and learn from it each time, and don't get so down on yourself. Keep your head up. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be down. Everyone has days. Some people handle it better than others. It is what it is. But don't ever be ashamed to reach out to someone, that's for sure. And when you think you need help and you need it, then just do it. Ask a friend to get their opinion, or go see someone professionally. It's up to you, but don't be ashamed of it, because it could be too late, people want you around. People want you around probably more than you think.
Thanks, bro.
Easy, bro. Nice to meet you, bro.
You too.
That's it for this episode. If you like what we're all about, support us by following Young Blood Men's Mental Health on Instagram and Young Blood Mental Health on TikTok. Every podcast episode is recorded in professional quality video, and they're all up on our Young Blood Men's Mental Health YouTube channel. So please show some love and subscribe. You can find everything there is to know about the podcast at youngbloodmensmentalhealth.com. And most importantly, please share these stories with anyone in your life who needs to know they're not alone. We're all in this together. Catch you next time.